Sports broadcasting is a signature major at Western Illinois University, and the major has been around for a quarter century. It was founded in 1991 by Professors Sharon Evans and Sam Edsel, with the idea of introducing sports announcing into the broadcasting department. And from its humble beginnings, they never could have known the signature program that it would become.
In 1990-91, Sam Edsel, a retired professor, and I decided to see what we could do to start sports broadcasting. So we did, in the early days, we did women's basketball, then we moved to men's basketball, then we kept adding softball, baseball, football.
All right, state your name, please, for the folks at home.
My name's Greg Phelps, as a 1993 graduate of Western.
Greg Phelps, the program's first sideline reporter, also remembers when it all began.
Well, I actually started back in 1991, and it was very basic back then. There was no production truck. We used Sam Edsel's truck, and we loaded everything in the back of pickup trucks and vans, brought it over here, had 300-foot spools of cable. Would take us an hour, hour and a half to get everything laid out. I mean, it was your very basic setup where you just had all our equipment was carried with us and up into the press box, so it was quite a big ordeal to get set up. And then for the announcers, it was, your pretty basic stuff. You had, your headsets and that, but you didn't have a lot of the computer stats. You didn't have any of that type of stuff. You had maybe a 2 or 3 inch thick thing of paper you did for every week.
Today, most of the sports events that are broadcast rely on the internet to reach viewers. However, it didn't always used to be this way.
Back then, we aired them on the cable channel.
Oh,
okay. We aired them, we did on tape delay basis. We didn't do it live, but we did on tape delay, but it was live on tape. It was live on tape, which meant we didn't do any editing.
With the department moving upward and onward, it attracted more students, like Brock Wismiller, who wanted to get involved right away.
I'm the Assistant Athletics Director for External Affairs at Upper Iowa University, and I oversee all of our broadcasting operations for the department. I got my bachelor's degree in broadcasting in 2007, and then I got my master's degree in sport management in 2009.
Those opportunities are exactly what former sports director and current broadcasting and journalism chair, Buzz Hoon, wants to provide.
We have, I think, tried to make sure to provide an environment that students get an opportunity to find out where their skills are. And that's if they have interest in announcing or if they want to be involved with sports broadcasting and production. We're trying to provide the opportunity that they can find out where their skills are and as many opportunities as possible.
When I started out as a freshman, one of the great things I was able to do was get on the air right away. I was able to get a radio shift my first semester with a buddy of mine. And then from there, I transitioned quickly over to sports broadcasting. Started doing games on the radio. I did football as a sophomore, and then that transitioned into doing basketball and some baseball, softball. And then when WIUS first got women's basketball on as the exclusive radio home for women's basketball, I was on that broadcast team that first season. So was able to get a championship ring from the Mid-Con Championship with radio that first year. And so interestingly enough, this homecoming weekend, Zane Talane went in the Hall of Fame, and she was a member of that basketball team my first year doing it. So did a lot of radio there. And then when I transitioned into grad school, continued with that, helped out with color commentary and sideline reporting for football. And then that eventually led me to get hired on full-time in the athletics department here.
A more recent graduate, Redrick Terry, took full advantage of those opportunities and was a 2-time NBS National Award winner.
It is Redrick, R-E-D-R-I-C-K, last name Terry, T-E-R-R-Y, class of 2017. I am currently a multimedia journalist at WHBF Television in Rock Island, Illinois. Some of my accomplishments. I had a time in my life here at Western. I was able to do so many different things, from play-by-play for football, men's and women's basketball. I did a little track and field here and there, and it was just a blast the entire time. I was able to do PA announcing and being on the news for News 3, doing sports and news as well. It was just, there were so many different options, and the opportunity was endless for me, and obviously it paid off for me as I was able to gain employment afterwards. But it was a time in my life, truly.
That desire to get involved and succeed continues today. The goal for unlimited opportunities seen by Buzz and Sharon are recognized by current senior Justin Minkley and sophomore Michael Dion.
I'm Michael Dion. I am a sophomore sports broadcasting major.
I'm Justin Minkley. I'm a senior and also a sports broadcasting major. They want you to actually do something. It doesn't matter if it's engineering, producing, directing, calling games, any of that. It doesn't matter. It's a big deal to really jump in feet first. It's okay to mess up too, which I think has been something that everyone can take pride in. When you mess up, you actually learn more from it. You get to see what you can do better next time. And one thing that I really cherish about the sports side of the department is, unlike news where there's a lot of writing and whatnot, you don't really have that as much, but you do have a lot of people working together to get the perfect shot or to make sure they're ahead when it comes to the games. And it's very fast-paced. So however long the game goes, that's how long we are out there, and it's just a much better feeling.
If I would have gone to many other institutions, I wouldn't have gotten the help that I've gotten here. Broadcasting-wise, I wouldn't have gotten the experience that I've gotten here. It's really a great thing when, as a freshman, the chair of the department walks up to you and congratulates you on getting a basketball spot and tells you, how hard what the work you should put into this and how good you should feel about getting this, because you worked for it and you got it. And according to him, not a lot of freshmen do it. And I was able to go on air on my radio show 3 weeks after I got here. So there's really no other place that you can get this kind of opportunity. Most other institutions that I looked into, college-wise, was basically you sit around for 2 years. Maybe you don't even get into the program until you're a junior, let alone actually do stuff. And me sitting here doing this right now is just another thing that shows, what we do as freshmen and sophomores leads into the good stuff we do as juniors and seniors.
Both Justin and Michael took full advantage of the opportunities they saw.
I've been able to do a radio show involving sports. Every semester I've been here, my first radio show involving sports. I was with 4 seniors, so I was able to have the experience and intelligence going forward to actually either run a board or work well with at least 4 other people. I've been like him. He and I, of course, are doing volleyball this season. I had it last year, and I've also tried out for at least a couple other sports as well. I've gone into the production side as well when it comes to running camera, being in the truck, and trying to see if I can run the board or graphics or whatnot.
When I was a freshman, I had a radio show for a semester. It was a 4-man radio show called The Sports Bite with me and 3 other freshman friends. And then also that semester I did Macomb High football. And then that semester, and because the season bleeds over into the spring, throughout last year, I did WIU men's basketball for 88.3 The Dog. I was the radio play-by-play man. And then in the spring, I did baseball play-by-play for 88.3 The Dog and the audio stream on the Leatherneck Sports Network. And I also had a live mic. It was a solo radio show. And that was a really different experience, only going on by yourself. And then this year, I've got a radio show with Justin.
Something that came up time and time again was the family atmosphere in the department.
Really, it was just that bonding experience that you get not only doing stuff like that, but just every day in the broadcasting department. That's one of the magic things about this department is it's so close, it's so intimate. You have your friends that you're working with every day, whether it be News 3 or the sports productions, and you just build those relationships with them, and they're truly long-lasting relationships that go far beyond graduation. I still talk to a bunch of people that I went to school here with, so it's a great time.
Well, living on Saley 3 was probably the best part about being a student here. Being a part of a family atmosphere in a department. We talked with other students on campus, and they just didn't have the connections that we had in broadcasting. And that was the cool part, was that we all lived on that floor because we were always working on projects, and we weren't working on projects, we were helping somebody else out with theirs, or we were just goofing off, whatever it was. And so being on that floor, connecting with the faculty, especially, all the professors were just phenomenal. Buzz, Roger, Mike, Don Norton, a number of them, Sharon, they were all, they were our friends. They weren't just our professors, and that was the coolest part, that we were that type of family atmosphere in our department.
During their years contributing to the broadcasting department, Dr. Evans, Dr. Hoon, and several alumni share their most vivid memories on a floor that they classify as a close-knit family.
I don't know if this is a pleasurable memory, but I do remember when we did, and I can't recall exactly the year, but I do remember that Western played Western Kentucky in a playoff football game, and we had the rights to do that broadcast. So all of our students were doing the football game, and it was a hard-fought game. Western came back, and we lost right at the very end of the game. And I remember the last thing that happened was, I think, an attempted field goal that we just missed barely, and then there was a big fight at the end of the game between the two teams, and we were continuing to go with the broadcast, and it was kind of chaotic because people were coming into the truck saying that they wanted to have the tape right away. And
one of my favorite memories, wow. I think one of my favorite memories was going to New York with MBS. We went up there for the yearly convention, and we were able to sightsee. We were able to learn a lot from some of the panelists that were there. Went to the award show. We did well at the awards.
All the students. I don't know that I have one particular, memory that sticks out, but just getting to know all the students' willingness to try new things like sports broadcasting, to work as hard as they do. That's my fondest memory.
Curtain came down on Dr. Sharon Evans' career in 2016, 25 years after the sports broadcasting program showed its face. She feels more hopeful about its future than ever before.
I think the department is going in great directions. We have wonderful students, we have wonderful faculty. I've never been so proud of them as I am now.